Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Hiya, it's Amanda here from Lolli Lulu Crafts, and today we are going to be making this so cute little elephant card. And what I wanted to do today was kind of almost follow on from my easy peasy sort of series of things that we've been doing. So we had the easy peasy envelope, easy peasy card, and this is going to be kind of like easy peasy colouring, I guess. I know a lot of you are not very confident with your colouring, and I thought that it would be fun and perhaps helpful just to show a simple sort of technique or procedure or whatever you want to call it, where you can just take your basic one level of colouring and just pop it up a little bit so that you have that extra bit of dimension, etc. to your card. And I'm going to be doing this both with the Copics and with the Promarkers. Now this particular one was coloured with Promarkers, but I'm going to show you both anyway, and we're going to actually end up making the whole card as well. So I hope that you'll find this useful and I hope you'll enjoy it. Okay, so the first thing I've got is that I printed out the little elephant twice on a 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock, and this is a Simon Says stamp cardstock, and this is a cardstock that, as you saw, you can colour directly onto your card and it doesn't come through to the other side, so that's really cool. Okay, so all I'm going to do for now is just cut that down the middle at 5.5 inches so that we have our two cards. I'm not yet going to score and fold this. I want it nice and flat to make it a little bit easier for my colouring. So I've got a pile of Promarkers here. So again, if you want to know what the colours are, then go on to the blog post that corresponds with this video and I will have a list of both the Promarkers and the Copics that I use. Okay, so we're going to start with the Promarker version first. So I'm going to start off with colouring the actual elephant himself, and I'm going to use my tea green, and I'm going to use the bullet point for the moment, just while we're on these thinner pieces. Okay, so we're just going to go around these small areas here, just filling in my little elephant. Okay, now I'm just going to flip the pen over and I'm going to use the chisel tip just to fill this part of the elephant in so it's just a bit quicker. So that's our little blue elephant, and then I'm going to take the pink and I'm going for baby pink, and that's going to be for his ear. Okay, then I'm going to take the yellow, and this is pastel yellow. There's a theme coming here, isn't there? Okay, so normally you wouldn't colour him completely like this. For the technique that I'm going to show you, you would do one section like his ear, then you would do the next thing that I'm going to be showing you. However, and I will do that, I will do it that way when we do it with the Copic markers, so you'll see what I mean and how it works. But I wanted to colour it all in on this occasion with the Promarkers because I wanted to just show you what it looks like when you just colour it in with the single colour like this, just flat colouring, and how pretty it looks. It looks very effective and it looks really nice, and if that's all you want to do, then you can create some really nice things with that kind of colouring. So even if that's all you're confident, give it a go and do it and just colour some things in. You'll get some really nice images coloured, and then when you get a little bit more confident you can always move on then. But I think when you watch what we're going to do, I think you'll find that you'll see that how simple it is just to bump it up to that next level and give you that look like we did on the elephant that I'd already coloured. So this one was cerise, And this one here that I've got is pastel beige. There is definitely a theme coming here, isn't there? Okay, so we're going to just do his little toes, and then just along the line here of the ground, I'm just going to run along and put that down like that. Okay, so that's our image coloured with the Promarkers, just with no shading, nothing, just colouring him in, and he looks really, really sweet. And as I said, there's nothing to stop you doing that sort of colouring, and it will look really, really nice. But what we're going to do now is we're going to do a very simple thing just to make it just that little bit more on the image. Now, quite often when you see me colouring and I do shading, you'll see that I use for each sort of section. So for example, let's look at his ear. I would use 3 colours usually. I would have a mid-tone, a light tone and a dark tone. So your mid-tone is the colour that you want it to be, and then you have a darker and a paler colour. But we're not going to get that complicated today. I want to keep it really, really simple. As I said, this is easy peasy colouring. I mean, there's nothing more easy peasy than what we did there, but we're going to just do easy peasy colouring, but just to that next bit. So for each colour, I have got one more colour with it. So for the pink, I've got my shadow colour, and for the elephant blue, my shadow colour, etc. So each colour that I pick, you will pick, if you've got different colours to me, pick a shade that complements but is just that little bit darker. You don't want to go so much of a leap, because that makes it harder when you're just starting out. It makes it harder for you to blend that in. Okay, so now we will start adding the shading to our little elephant, and I have to be honest, this is second time lucky, because the first time I did loads and I didn't switch the camera on, so I've had to recolour him and come up with another one for you. So we're going to get going now with the shading. I have double checked the camera is on, so we're good to go. So the first colour we're going to use is our darker shade of our elephant colours. So we have the tea green for our elephant, and I've gone for grey green for the shading. Now you want to have your tea green available as well, so take the nibs off so it's ready to go. I actually often hold it in my other hand so that it's ready to swap over. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to just be doing a 2-colour shade, well, 1-colour shade really. We're just taking the darker shadowing, and we're not trying to get too complicated about this and think, oh, where's it going to be putting, you know, the light and all of that. We're just going to colour in where it looks like it might be a bit darker. So obviously where he's fluffy around the top of his head will be darker, because it's all the different bits of the fluffiness, and also the back of the head and the sides of the head will be darker naturally anyway. So just scribbling, almost like a scribbling motion, just pop in that darker piece across the top there, and then do the same down the sides here, each side. And then we're going to take our tea green, and we're going to go up to, but not over, this dark line. So just on this line here where it joins our tea green, now we're going to put some more tea green. Now this is going to layer another layer of tea green over our elephant, so this is going to make it slightly darker. So you're going to have this colour, then the slightly darker tea green, and then the normal tea green. So by doing that, you're also adding a little bit more dimension, because you're kind of following where the shadow is anyway. So you want shadow there, and it just blends that shadow through and makes it look really good. So we're just gonna go around, just doing that similar motion, not going too far into our picture. We want it just to be around where that grey green even is already, and then down the sides here we're gonna just scribble, as it were. Well, let's not get fussy and difficult with it, so let's just scribble down, and scribble down this side as well. So, and it will look stronger and more liney at this point, because you've got the alcohol in there and it hasn't dissolved yet, so don't get too worried about that looking kind of weird. Okay, and then we're going to take our grey green again, and we're going to follow the artist's line here, and we're going to put a dark piece in there, and we're going to add a little bit of dark around his eyes, and we're going to go back in and we're going to just go around the edge. So I'm circling around that darker area over the line, and can you see when you first put that colour down it's easier to blend, and then again we're going around the edge, so up to that edge piece there, and we're going across the top as well, and that will just blend that in nicely like so. Then we're going to go across to his little ears, and we're going to take this section here is going to be darker because obviously that's next to his head. Then we've got a little bit of fluffy, and then we've got a little bit just here, and then we're going to take that around there and make this darker because the part near his head is going to be darker, plus obviously at the bottom of the ear it's almost certainly going to be darker as well. So then taking our tea green, just going on that edge again, and then up to the other bit and just blending that one in as well, like so. Then we're going to do the other ear, again just at that edge, a little bit there, and then round the ear and underneath the bottom part here. And again then just taking our pen and blending that and up here as well. And this just softens that hard edge, but you can see it's not difficult to do, it's just softening that edge down where we had that darker colour coming in. Okay, then we're going to take our grey green again, and we're going to come down here, so the bottom edge of his trunk will be darker because obviously it's the underneath part. So then just going around the present and the underneath part here, there's a little bit there that would be darker where it's creased, and then there's some artist drawing creases there as well. So again, taking our pen and I'm just colouring in the whole of the trunk because it's such a small area, it's just easier to do. And then we want to just go in here again where there be a little bit of shading around where those pieces like his head and stuff are just overlapping and just creating that bit of shadowing there. And then we're just going to fill that in and blend it using the tea green. So basically what we're doing is we're just taking our stronger colour, we're adding it to where we think there'll be darker elements, and then we're blending out that line so that it doesn't look too harsh. And then we're going to take that again. And you can see for the smaller areas I'm pretty much just filling in the rest of the area with the pen because it's just easier to do. And then again here we've got obviously shading under his trunk here. We'll have those artist drawing lines, and then we'll have a line here where there's the shadow created by the box. And then we're just going to take this down here under there, creating a shadow by the other leg and filling in those artist lines. But you know, to a certain extent this is one common sense really where the shadowing goes, but if you're not sure, to be honest, it's such simplistic drawings, if you pick them and you just put it where you think looks right. Okay, so just then colour this back leg in as well. And then I'm just going to go along his little tail, just because it's so thin the paler colour just didn't show. Okay, so can you see now how the face drying off and it's blending out really softly now, and you can really see how that's coming together. So that's just the elephant, and that was the hardest bit. So the next thing we're going to do is little ears. So we've got the original baby pink, so we're going to keep that on hand to blend out the line, and then I picked up dusky rose for the shading. Okay, so we're going to take his ear. Now clearly the bit that's nearest his head will be the darkest. That's going to be the part, because that's like the deep part of your ear, isn't it? So that's the part that's going to be the darkest. So we're going to take our dusky rose and we're just going to put some colour down like that, and then taking my pink, I'm going to immediately just go over that line to soften that in. Okay, that blends that out, and it looks really dark at the moment, but that will lighten off. Again, doing the same again, just putting a little bit of shadowing in the corner and across the bottom of that ear like so, and then taking our baby pink, just blending that edge out, and you can see how I'm again going up to the line but not over it, and just taking that and blending it through. And again, like the body of the elephant, once this starts to dry, that will really lighten up a lot. Okay, so we've done his little ears, so that was really simple and quick. And then we're going to go to the parcel itself. So we've got here, we did the pastel yellow for the main body of the package, and then we've got mustard for the shadowing. So I'm going to put my mustard on now. So again, it's just where you can see, like his foot will create a shadow, so put a line under there. All here where the bow is, that will be slightly darker, and again this side just over like that, and then just taking then your other marker, just gently colour over that line like we've done on all the others. And you can either fill it in completely, or you can just leave it like this, and by doing it where I've left a little bit, you get that second layer of shading. So it's up to you, you can do it all over, or you can just do that extra bit. So that's our package done, believe it or not. And then the next thing is the ribbon on our package. And then after that, we've only got one more little thing to do. So we've got soft green is our shadow on the ribbon, and our pastel green is the ribbon itself. So now obviously the centre of the bow here would be darker, and just a little bit on the actual ribbon, and then just again taking around the edges to soften that out. Now a bow, you almost don't want it too soft, because it looks quite effective having it a stronger shadow actually. Okay, and then the last thing I want to do is take my pastel beige again, and I just want to go on my envelope and just create the shading on there. So we're just going to go on there like that, and just put a little bit of shading onto our envelope, and that's all I want to do, just that line. I'm not going to soften it off or anything. And that is our elephant coloured for our Promarkers. Now we need to wait for this to dry off a little bit, but you can see already, like the elephant, it's dried off and it looks a lot paler. The ears are going to start to settle down a little bit soon, so that will all come together, and like the package etc will sort of dry off. But while that's doing that, I'm going to move on just to show you what it's like. Now I'm going to do this slightly differently, because what I think I wouldn't probably normally do is colour the whole image with every single colour and then try and blend out. It does make it a little bit hard. You saw some of that. I was struggling just a little bit to blend. The only reason I did it where I coloured the whole layer, the whole image first, was just to show you exactly what it looks like when you colour it with one colour, and it looked very pretty, but just to show you the difference now to that. Okay, so we're going to start with our little elephant, and I'm going to start with BG10 as my colour for my elephant himself. So I'm going to just lay down a layer of the colour. I'll start on his ear, and then onto his body. So I'm just trying to make sure there's no kind of lines. Okay, so that's the elephant colour laid down, and then for my shading I've gone for BG72, so it's quite a strong colour, and then we're going to just add in the shading around his ear here, I've done it again, didn't I? And then round here and the bottom of the ear, like so. Then I'm going to take this marker straight away and I'm going to blend in that edge straight away, exactly like I did with the Promarkers, and then up, trying to make sure I hold the pen so you can see, up here, the top edge here as well. Like so. And then we're going to do the opposite side. There we go. Then we're going to do the same as we did before on the other one. We're going to just go put a little bit of the colour up on the top of his head here. And I'm going to straight away blend this colour out because there is quite a strong difference here to this colour, and I want to make sure that it gets blended through nicely. It's quite a big area there, so I just want to use the chisel end just to make sure that I'm blending that out smoothly. There we go. And then I'm going to go down the sides like we did on the other one as well. Okay, so then I want to put some darker colour down into the trunk area. So just very lightly go around the package like we did before, like so. And then we're going to take this end and just blend that through. Okay, and then we want to, oh, I've completely missed his other little foot. So then we want to add just a little bit of colour to his foot and just blend that out. There we go. So there's our little Ellie done, the blue part of him. So now we're going for his ears, and we've got RV21 and RV34. So just flicking that with nice strokes, and then taking the RV34 just to create the shadowing. Like so, and then just blend that in. Like that. And there his little ears are done. So you can see how the principle is the same each time. You're just putting your base colour in and then adding some shading and just blending that shading through. So now we're going to work on our little yellow package, and I've got Y21 for my main colour here. So let's just pop that colour down, like so. And then we've got Y26 for the shading. So a little bit of shading under there, like so. And then just blending that shading out with our original colour, like so. So nice and simple. And then I want to add the colour to the bow, so I've got G00 for the base colour, and it's quite similar, I think, to him. It's a little bit greenier, but not a lot. And I went outside the line on his foot. I shall get my blender pen on in a minute and sort that out. Okay, and then our darker colour is BG34, and I'm almost not going to blend this because I want that distinction. I like it as it is, where you've got that colour distinction. Okay, and then we've got the pink for our little hearts, and I've got RV09, and you could blend these as well if you wanted to. If I was doing this a little bit more complicated, I would be actually even putting a blend on the hearts and things, but one, we're doing a simple, more simple drawing, and two, I also know I'm going to be covering those up in a minute. So then the last colour is YG91, and that's for his little toenails here, and the envelope and the floor, the ground, I mean. So just, there we go. And then the envelope, like so. Okay. Now if you wanted to blend that out, just use your blender pen and do that, but I rather like it as it is. So, okay, so that is our Copic version, and he's a little bit more candy, I think, than the Promarker ones, and that's just because I didn't find the grey greens, the grey blues that we had in that, but I think it's still really pretty. And I didn't have the same colours, but you just look at them separately and you can see. But you can also see how now this one has dried off and how it's really settled down and how much better it looks. Okay, so that's our two coloured, and we're just going to let this one dry off now as well. But we're going to now score and fold these in half and actually just make the cards. Okay, so here are our two elephants, and I also had one that I did earlier that you didn't get to see. So there's him, and you can see how he's really dried off now and looks really nice as well. So we've got a whole collection of elephants here. Okay, so the next thing that I did on the card that I've got is I put my background in. So I thought that it would be fun to do that now. So what I used was a stencil from Simon Says Stamp called Large Dots. Again, if you go on my web page and the corresponding blog post to this, I will put all the links to these things there. Okay, and then I've got two inks also from Simon Says Stamp, Surf Blue and Audrey Blue, and we're just going to use those to create our background. So we're just going to pop that over the top. Now you could stick it down if you want, but I'm just going to be a devil and go for it. Now, and also the other thing, you could mask off your little elephant also if you wanted to, but again, I'm not too worried about that. I'm just going to give it a go. We'll avoid him. So I'm just going to hold that down in the middle over my elephant, because that's the bit that I'm not going to be going on. And I want to kind of make sure that the dots are reasonably even. I'm going to start with Surf Blue because that's quite light, and just pick some up on a little sponge and we're just going to lightly put some of that down. And you're just avoiding really the elephant. And it's surprising really how much goes down when you don't even think there's anything going on to the papers. So I want it kind of darker at the edges, which is why I've got the other colour. So I'm just going to go around like this. And where the elephant is, it's mainly this colour anyway, so you kind of, if you do go on him, it's not going to show horribly, you know, really strongly. Now we're going for the slightly stronger colour, well, very much stronger colour. So I'm going to come off the mat here, and I'm just going to lightly, and I'm not going to probably do this on the other one because it's more this tone, I think, of this particular card. Inks that we use, so I just wanted to keep it for this one. So again, just building up the colour a little bit more at the very outer edges, like so. Okay, so I think that's probably going to be good. Oh, I'm just going to do it a little bit more. Just going to grab the other side of my sponge and just go in here a little bit. Just where I missed that. There we go. And then lift it. And you can see how that Audrey blue is just really in tone with the image that we've got. At least I hope you can on the camera. It looks really cool. So we're going to do the same again on our other one, but I'm only going to be using the paler colour, I think. Okay, so I've finished putting that ink on, and then we just lift that off. So we've gone for a much softer look with this one, because it's a softer colour, and I think that looks really nice as well. So that was mostly the surf blue, although there's probably a little of the Audrey blue because it was on the sponge, but hopefully you can see. Actually, that looks really pretty. Okay, now I've got a stamp set here from Simon Says Stamp, and this is going to be where my sentiment is. I'm just going to turn this over so I don't get ink on my cards, but I've got my sentiments here, and stamp it, and then just making sure that I give it a nice press so that it's all stamped down properly, like so. There we go. And that one says hello. So the next thing I want to do is add my little hearts and my little stars. And I've got a Martha Stewart punch here for the stars, and I've just got a piece of paper that's kind of scrap that's kind of pinky. So I'm just going to punch those out. I'm going to use my Cosmic Shimmer glue, and we're going to just stick that down. So just popping a little pop of glue onto the heart here and here, and then just taking this little heart, putting it in place. And then a little baby one next door, like so. And then I want this little one just over here because I just think it looks nice. Like that. And then a little baby one on our envelope, just to add that something on there. There we go. So just let those set, and then we're going to do the same on the other one. There we go. Okay, and then the next thing I want to just do on this, and well, I want to add some glossy accents to the little hearts, but I want to give those a chance to set up with the glue. And I've got these gorgeous little stars, and you will be able to find these in my store in due course, and they are just really iridescent, as you can see. So I want to pop some of those down onto my card here. So I'm just sprinkling these on, and I thought it'd be fun to put a couple on Eddie as well. And I'm just going to put a couple, whoops, or more than a couple, around. And I like to just kind of sprinkle them in position, because I like the way that often they fall more random. Okay, so I'm happy with that. So all I'm going to do now is take my glue, little Cosmic Shimmer glue, and just stick each of them. Okay, so that's that one done as well. I think that looks really pretty. And I'm just going to add the glossy accents as the final touch to the little hearts. And that is the finish of the cards. So we've done 2 cards, one with Copics, one with Promarkers, to show hopefully that just with adding that little extra step of the shading with one pen extra, you can achieve a completely different look. Okay, so there's the 2 cards. I hope you agree they look really pretty, and I hope you'll agree that really to achieve that wasn't that hard to do. If you can manage to colour a single layer, then just adding that extra bit of shading in that really easy, just add it in and then just colour in the edges where you've added the darker colour, and you can get such a different look. I think it would have been interesting to see the Copics in if I'd had exactly the same colour, because unfortunately I didn't have this grey blue colour in Copics, and I would have liked to have compared the 2 more directly, but I think the finished result looks really pretty. I hope you do too. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'd love to see what you can do with Edwin here, Edwin the elephant apparently, and how you get on with some easy peasy colouring. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.